Joe G, you are up next, sir. Hello, you can unmute yourself.
What's up, Bart? How you doing?
Pretty good, Joe. Got a
How
hand
you
for
doing?
us?
Yes, we got a 1-3 hand at Parks.
Another Parks call? Oh
Yeah,
my
another Parks call.
goodness. My goodness gracious. So what is the what's the buy-in cap at Parks at 1-3? I'm not super
So
familiar.
it's 500 max.
Okay.
This game was pretty deep in particular.
Okay. So 500 max at Parks, and how deep are you?
I'm 865. I'm the effective stack here in this
Okay.
hand.
So 865 effective. Okay.
The straddle was on basically every hand, so this game was playing a lot bigger than the usual 1-3 game. I was familiar with a lot of players in the game. They're all younger guys who I play with a lot, so.
Okay.
So Hero's in the straddle on his hand,
hmm
and under the gun limps for 6.
Okay.
The hijack opens to 20,
So UTG
fold,
limps, hijack to 20. Okay.
folds around to the big blind. He calls, and we look down at E6 of diamonds in the straddle.
Okay.
I called, and then the under the gun player called as well.
So here on the straddle with ace of diamonds, six of diamonds, just calls and the limper calls. So limp, hijack to 20, big blind calls here on the straddle with ace six of diamonds. This is actually one of the worst suited aces that you can have. Ace deuce being slightly worse. It's kind of tricky in these games with like the capped sort of, effectiveness of it, but I could actually see throwing in some three bets here as a squeeze. You get the hijack coming over the top of a limp, big blind calling. You want to drive the limper out. You've got some dead money in there. I don't think calling is terrible. I'm just saying that I could see
Mhm.
sometimes actually squeezing it up, but it gets a little bit tricky in these low stakes games too. So limper
Yeah,
calls.
usually the under the gun limps is usually like a really strong play. I was kind of worried about that. A lot of people do that and then limp re-raise. So I was
Right.
kind of
That is true.
iffy about
Yeah,
that.
sure. No, that absolutely. Especially the more, and I'll be talking about that actually in the podcast a little bit. I'm doing a value podcast this week. And that is one of the things, the lower you go, the more you will see the limp race from up front. Yeah, that's definitely true. So four ways, $80. Is that right?
Yes, $80.
Okay. Yep.
So the flop is ace of spades, nine of diamonds, eight of hearts.
Ace of spades, nine of diamonds, nine of hearts. Is that what you said?
Eight of
Eight of
hearts.
hearts. Okay. Ace of spades, nine of diamonds, eight of hearts. Okay.
So it's rainbow.
hmm
Checks around to the opener in the hijack,
Okay.
and he bets 40.
So hijack 40. Okay.
The big blind called.
hmm
Um, I don't really consider. I think it's a pretty standard call here.
Well, I mean, obviously you got to defend tighter multi-way, right? But you've got some backdoor stuff going on here. I don't think you can full top pair. You have ace six. You got a backdoor diamond draw, backdoor straight draw. I mean, the pot is gonna be like 160. You're getting 4-1. Now, sometimes people look at this the wrong way. They're like, "Oh, I'm getting better pot odds. I'm gonna overcall." When in fact, it can actually be better for you if no one's in between, and you should be more likely to call heads up with worse pot odds. But I still think that you have to call. The only troublesome thing here is that maybe you see it, but it's kind of the hijack shouldn't be doing a whole lot of c-bet bluffing here into three people. I mean, I suppose
That's yeah.
he could have like Jack 10 or Queen Jack with a backdoor or something like that, but I'm going to call here. So hero calls, right?
Yeah, and the under the gun player folded.
So hero calls and fold. So 40, 80, 120, 200.
Yeah, so pot 200.
Okay. Yep.
The turn was the seven of diamonds.
Turn is the seven of diamonds. Okay. So now hero picks up a little bit of backdoor, right? Yep.
Yeah, this was a really good card for me. So the big blind player checked again,
Okay.
and then I decided to go a little unconventional. I let out for 140.
So hero leads. You're a CLP sub website subscriber?
No, I'm not a
Okay.
subscriber. I
The only thing
pretty much watch every one of your videos. Though.
okay, so for all the CLP website subscribers, and I'll put a link to it in the YouTube. One of the things we're going to try to do here a little bit is if I make reference to CLP content in a YouTube video, I'm going to link to it, and we might open part of it up for free. So if you go over there, the sample of there's like a 5-minute sample always for non-subs, but we might open the sample up a little bit and I'll try to do this when this call goes up. But I just did a 2-part podcast on donk leads on the flop, but then on later streets too. So you are basically check call leading on a turn here. Now it gets a little bit more tricky because it's multi-way. Here's my thought though. I mean, I know you've picked up a huge draw, and sometimes we can look at poker like, if we're gonna call, why not just bet anyways, right? If we're gonna call, unless we're trying to induce a bluff. But my only thought here is that at this level, I would be absolutely shocked if anyone ever folds an ace here. So like if the hijack has ace king, ace queen, ace jack, is he ace 10, which is open-ended, is he ever folding?
No, no, he's not folding.
Yeah. And then Ryan Kustek in the live chat makes a good point here. This actually plays, if you wanted to play this turn aggressively, it plays much better as a check raise. The reason why is because if you check raise, then you max your fold equity against one pair. So you agree with me that the ace is never folding. You already have top pair. It's not like you have some sort of 15 out combo draw that's only 10 high, like, you know, queen 10 of diamonds or something like that. Or I'm trying to think, you know, some sort of unpaired hand. You already have top pair. So if the hijack doesn't have an ace, you haven't beat anyways. So I don't think I would make this play. I think I would check and evaluate what the guy did. Maybe if he threw in sort of a scaredy cat bet of like 75, 80, especially if the other guy went out, or maybe even if the other guy stayed in, it might even be better for you to check raise because then you leverage the guy in the middle. Then it's really hard for ace queen to call. So
that's why, that was sort of my reasoning. I wanted to take the lead. I mean, I could do it with a check raise, obviously. I just thought like those ace holdings, I feel like this is a scary card for me completing in the straddle. I feel like ace king might check back here, ace queen. Ace 10 wouldn't.
Yeah, but you want those hands to check back though, right?
Yeah, you're right. I do.
They're ahead of you, right? Yeah. No, so I mean, here's the thing. Like, this is another spot where, say for example, you had ace 7 here. Okay, so instead of having ace 6, you turned aces up. For those reasons that we just talked about, I'd actually like a lead here because you were just saying, oh, ace king, ace queen might check back. Well, but you're not ahead of ace king, ace queen with ace 6 of diamonds. You are with ace 7. So I could actually see donk leading with ace 7. It gets a little tricky multi-way, but that's why it's a little bit different when you're still behind to ace king and ace queen. Okay, so you go 140.
Yeah, and so he calls, the hijack calls.
And the other guy folds?
Yeah.
Okay, so you put in 280 here, so it's 480 to the river, right?
480, yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And then the river was the 5 of hearts.
5 of hearts. You make a straight.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and the other sort of value hand that sort of jumps right out at me that you could have that might make this play would be like Jack 10, right? You know, which is the open-ended and turns the nuts. Although, and the reason why you play it this way is because it's somewhat deceptive because a lot of guys like won't lead with the nuts, but you're doing it because you don't want ace king and ace queen to check back here.
Check back, yeah.
So here's the thing, like if you go bet here, even at this level, it's pretty hard. If you go bet, like big bet here, it's kind of hard, I gotta be honest with you, for one pair to call because you'd have to, this guy, like if I'm in your opponent's spot, I'd have to invent a bluff that you have here. Like it'd have to consist of like 10x of diamonds that's unpaired, which is literally like only queen 10, which is because you overcall the flop, which is like a gut shot. Jack 10's already there, so I think you're actually forced to kind of size down here. I'd probably go like 175. Try to get him to make a crying call.
Yeah, that so this is where I'm mad about the sizing I made on the river, because we'll get to it. But I bet 300 on the river.
I think that's a little bit big.
Yeah,
for the reasons why I stated. So hero bets. I don't. It's so hard for me to find a bluff. Here, if I'm in your opponent's spot, the way that you played this hand on 8, for the podcast people, it's ace 9-8. Hero has ace 6. You overcalled the flop. You led the turn when Jack 10 gets there. And then now you're leading pretty large on the river. It's like, what bluff do you have? It's a rainbow board. Again, it would literally have to be comprised of some sort of straight draw that's unpaired. It's really only queen 10 of diamonds. or like, yeah, because like what else would you be called? Or turning some
Mhm.
hand into a bluff, but yeah, I
Yeah,
think it's a little bit large. So you go with 300, okay?
yeah. And the villain tanked for a little, and he wound up jamming for my stack. He had me covered, so it was about like 365 more for me to call.
So
And
this is the hijack jams,
yeah,
right?
the hijack, yeah, we're heads up.
Right. And here's the thing about this. The reason why I picked this hand is that first of all, right off the bat, I don't think you can fold for 365 more. I mean, the pot is
No,
going to be 7 8. The pot is going to be I have to pick something in the live chat here though for a second. The pot's going to be about what 1145. What, let's see, actually, excuse me, he's 665 total, right? So
yeah,
yeah, so 780, 780, and then it's like 1450, like 365 for you to call, something like that.
yeah. It was four. It was. I have 1445
Yeah,
and
that sounds about right.
365 more to call.
Hold on a second. I gotta read this. I just it's just mind blowing to me. So Robert Wilson in the live chat says this straight is effectively the nuts. Either need to bet small or check, hoping for a bluff. Hoping for what bluff? How could you ever check the river here in the hero spot? Like that just makes absolutely no sense. I don't. Now, I mean, like I said, obviously you're getting incredible pot odds. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, this would be more interesting if you had like 900. Like, say you bet 3 into 480, and then he has 900 total, right? It's like 1680, 600 for you to call. It's just really weird to find. But I think maybe you could be up against another 6 here sometimes too. He might have the same hand, but I mean, for these pot odds, I have to call. If he's got Jack 10, he's got Jack 10. But I wanted to look at the earlier street play. I assume you called, right?
Yeah, I did call.
Okay, and
And one of the like, I also like, I pretty much snap called in the moment. Like, I wasn't really thinking. I wasn't thinking what bluffs he can have because it didn't really like. He really didn't have many bluffs. Looking back on it, I mean, he's never gonna do this. Take this line with a set. Say he had, a set on the flop. He would never even do this because I kind of blocked diamond, so he's not doing it with like a diamond draw that bricked. Um, but yeah, he turned over Jack 10.
yeah.
Yeah, Jack 10.
I mean, that makes a lot of sense, but again, just from the empirical evidence of the show and some of the calls, like you cannot fold here getting, I don't think, 5-1 with a one-liner straight here with a 6. We've just seen too many weird stuff, especially at this level. Like I said, if he was like 1,000 or 900 on the river and you go 3 into 480 and then he jams for say like 1,000 and it's 1780, 700 for us to call, then we can have a real discussion. And you might actually want to make a tough fold there thinking that you're at best chopping and he just played it like he had Jack 10 and we're just not capable. But you just got unlucky in this particular spot. Like I said, the way I probably would have played it if I tried to go for max fold equity, check raise the turn. Check raise the turn,
definitely.
and you still would have got it in with the guy. Did he have Jack 10 of diamonds by chance, or do you remember?
No, I can't remember if it was suited.
Okay. No
it
problem.
might have been offsuit, honestly.
Yeah. All right. Thank you very much for the call. I appreciate it.